Howdy. Welcome to my shop. My name's Ron and I'll be your host for the next 10 minutes or so. Being a fourth generation carpenter, wood is that's my language. It's my living, it's my hobby, it's my passion. One of those passions is making stocks. I've never had any formal training in this. I just wanted to put a piece of wood on a gun one day, and I seemed like that'd be a pretty unique challenge, so I tried it, and been going at it ever since. But honestly, I owe a lot of my success to my customers, my friends that have suggested this or that, different ways of doing it to produce a better outcome. And so I appreciate them. I owe them a great deal. The finish that I use was suggested by a friend of mine that owns a gun shop in Georgia, a guy named Dan. I've been friends with him for many years, and I owe him for that knowledge. So I don't suggest that my way is the only way. That's just not the case. I picked up my abilities to do this from watching other people and seeing other things, and then figuring out how to do that. So it's a process. Some ways are better, cleaner, faster. They require less effort. On and on it goes. And I'm open to learning new and better ways. I'm always looking for that. My grandfather used to say, never let a day go by that you don't learn something. So when I do, I'll often look up, thanks, Pop, because no matter how old you get, you still need to be learning new things. So come on in, see what's going on today. All right, one thing that I need to do is establish where this front mounting hole is. Before I go any further, we're going to do that. Now I'm back at my vise. This front screw goes in there. Alright, just checking. I have some little short pieces of screws that I've made over the years. I call them guide points. I don't know how everybody else does it. This is just how I do it. Like I've said before, I don't claim to have all the answers. I just know how I can do it. I'm going to match up a screw, diameter and thread. And that would do it, but it sticks down a long ways. I don't like that. I think this will do it better. I've made a short screw with a point on the end of it, and I can just put it in with my fingers to where that point just barely sticks out. And then I set this back in place. Make sure it's in the right place. And then I bump it. Now, that's left me a mark. Just a little dent, an indentation. Where my fingernail is, there's a little dip. Now I've got to measure the diameter of the screw, get me a drill bit that's about 5, 6, 8 thousandths bigger than this, and punch in right there and go straight in. Now I know that this is perpendicular to this receiver because other than a 720 Remington, all the screws are always perpendicular. 720 on the rear had a, I don't know what they were thinking, but they slanted the thing about 4 degrees. It was a military contract. So I'm gonna deepen this just a touch. Drill a hole and come back. Be right back. Alright. Punch that hole in there straight down. And then, like I said, you need to learn how to trust your equipment. And I turned it over to check to see if it was in line with the center line. See my center line that I've got marked on there? That hole came out straight, even with that center line. That makes a stock maker feel real good. This is a 1/4 inch bolt with a 1/4 inch hole. Goes in, no wiggle. That's real nice tolerance. Real nice tolerance. Now, just for curiosity's sake, I don't know if this bolt will actually reach the threads, but I'm going to drop this in, push this bolt up in there and see if it'll touch those threads as far as the length of the bolt. It will not. It won't yet because that bolt is sitting below the wood. It's eventually it's going to be recessed up in the wood. Now, if you can get longer bolts if you have to. If you're building a custom and you've got to have longer stuff, you can do that. I'm going to see if I have a takedown screw that's longer than that, because this is a standard Remington. This is called a takedown screw. It's for temporary working on stocks. It's the same thread. Generally, all Remingtons are the same, all Winchesters are the same. This screw is longer, about 3/16. We'll see if that's enough to catch it. If it's not, I've got a longer one yet. There it is. It lines up perfectly. I'd rather be lucky than good. So that lets me know that it's in the right place. Now, having done that, I can line up my trigger guard. With that one screw hole and my center line, I can line up the trigger guard. I'm going to flip this thing upside down. I can't leave the action in it, it'll fall out. This trigger guard is separate. This little dude here comes loose. This is, like I said, this was kind of a cheap gun. I don't think I gave you the history of this gun. Anyway, the trigger guard is separate from the bottom metal, so you gotta keep it together. And I got this front hole lined up really nice, but that's real close. All right, I'm gonna get me one nice dark line. Outline that fella, and inside here, because I've got to go all the way through with this hole for the clip. Alright, that gives me enough information to get started. Now I'm looking down this way, and this thing is straight. But I don't think this wood right here is straight. So I can either bend, it's not bad. I can probably make it be straight. That's fine. Or I can slightly put a bend in this. You know, I can adjust that. Alright, I'm going to try to mill out for the box, and then I'm going to mill out for the trigger guard and bottom. Alright, the box is perpendicular off of this top edge. If you'll remember, when I first started, I came along and flipped that thing upside down and put a level on it, and I made some marks to where I could put it there again. And those marks, I marked the edge of this vise, and they are right there. And I've got enough tolerance on that box where I don't really need to be any more accurate than that. Now to chew most of that wood out of there, I'm going to use a big bit, because it can make fast work of that, removing a bunch of wood. I'll come back in and with a smaller diameter bit, because I got to square the corners out of it. Let me make sure of what I'm doing here. That's probably a 1/2 inch bit. Yep. And that hole is more like 9/16 or so, so I can get away with this. That's from my last pass. That's a really sharp bit. Now you can see that line I'm going to have to cut out for the guard. Alright, that cut was made perpendicular to my top, but this cut has to be made more flat on this angle, so I've got to change the way this thing is mounted in here. And this is just going to be a wild guess at first. Alright, I'm about a 1/16 from that bit to here. Well, thanks for choosing to spend your time here with me today. I hope you've enjoyed this program. I'll try to post a new segment each weekend. In addition, if you'd like to read about a stock that I made and then it took a 20-foot free fall, click on the link at the bottom of this page. It's called The Broken Gun. It's a story I wrote a few years ago about my 2 boys. Sometimes life's hard and things get broken. Now and then we get a chance to fix them. I'm so grateful for the opportunity I had to repair this broken stock. It led to a restoration that I never could have imagined. As always, if you like this video, please click the like button and share this with your friends. Have a great day.